Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you haven't had a chance to do so by now, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And to go a step further, please tap the notification bell. That way you'll be updated each and every time I'm uploading something new. Also make sure you're following me on Instagram at YBSPEAKS, as well as my business page at Tika Naturals. And if you would like to bless the platform in a monetary way, please feel free to do so. I'll be sure to leave all those links in the description box for easy access. Yes.
This morning, questions after more unidentified objects are discovered over U.S. and Canadian airspace. According to a senior administration official, this latest object was in the shape of an octagon, unmanned, and traveling near sensitive sites at an altitude of 20,000 feet, posing a civilian flight risk. First detected Saturday as it flew over Montana, President Biden gave the order to shoot it down once it reappeared on radar out of an abundance of caution and at the recommendation of military leaders.
We have been more closely scrutinizing our airspace at these altitudes, including enhancing our radar, which may at least partly explain the increase in objects that we've detected over the past week.
This latest air defense operation coming just 24 hours after another object was spotted over Canada. U.S. and Canadian officials ordering it shot down.
It represented a reasonable threat to civilian aircraft. Canadian and American fighter jets were scrambled, and an American F-22 successfully shot down the object.
And that incident coming just one day after another unidentified object was shot down off the coast of Alaska. 3 incidents in less than a week since that Chinese spy balloon was shot down off the Carolina coast. But a senior U.S. official saying these 3 are different from that spy balloon. None appear to have a payload, and all are smaller.
It doesn't mean that they are coming from another country. It doesn't even mean that there are more of them. We're just looking for them, and so we're finding more of them.
An intensive search effort is now underway. Recovery teams in Alaska using Navy planes and helicopters to recover and analyze those objects they find. Tanya?
That's right. As you can see, we're getting right into the minutiae of it all, girl. Hello, God. And let's continue on, okay? So according to the New York Times, child, they provided a timeline of the UFOs that were shot down this past weekend, honey. After a Chinese spy balloon was brought down this month, the U.S. has shot down at least 3 unidentified flying objects over the past few days. Bitch. The U.S. military shot down at least 3 unidentified flying objects over the weekend after a Chinese spy balloon that invaded American airspace was downed on February 4th, setting off a diplomatic crisis, girl, okay? It is unclear what the objects were, what their purpose was, or who sent them. On Tuesday, a spokesman for the National Security Council said that the objects might turn out to be harmless commercial or research efforts that pose no real threat to the United States, though White House officials have said they posed a very real threat to civilian air traffic. Regardless, the United States and Canada have become hyper-vigilant since the balloon incursion. The North American Aerospace Defense Command has adjusted its radar system to become more sensitive, sharply raising the number of objects it detects. Here's a quick timeline of the events, everybody. So on February 4th, the Chinese spy balloon is shot down over the Atlantic Ocean. The balloon entered Alaskan airspace on January 28th, Pentagon officials have said, and later drifted from Idaho southeast to the Carolinas before it was shot down off the coast of South Carolina. The balloon was about the size of 3 buses and was flying at an altitude of 60,000 to 65,000 feet. The incident prompted Secretary of State Attorney Jay Blinken to, whatever his name is, child, to cancel a trip to China that would have been the first by a Biden cabinet secretary. American officials have said they believe the balloon was meant to conduct surveillance on U.S. military bases, although China has maintained that the device was a civilian aircraft that strayed into American airspace on Monday, a Chinese official said. Unauthorized balloons from the United States had flown over Chinese airspace more than 10 times since the start of last year. On February 10th, a UFO was shot down off of Alaska, girl, okay? A U.S. fighter jet brought down an unidentified object over the waters of Alaska. The object broke into pieces after being shot down and was most likely not a balloon, a Defense Department official said. A White House official said the object was the size of a small car. The object was first detected on Thursday night, Alaskan time, and was headed toward the North Pole before it was struck down. What they're not saying either, too, is, girl, this particular UFO that was the size of a car had no visible propulsion. There was no idea how this thing was being afloat. They said it wasn't flying, they said it was kind of like floating, so to speak. Okay, moving on. So on February 11th, a UFO was shot down over Canada. An American F-22 fighter downed an object over the Yukon Territory, which borders Alaska. The object, which a Canadian official described as cylindrical and smaller than the spy balloon, was picked up on radar late Friday as it passed over Alaska. It was unclear what the object was, but Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of Canada said it had violated Canadian airspace. He wrote in a tweet, "I ordered the takedown of an unidentified object that violated Canadian airspace. At NORAD Command shot down the object over the Yukon. Canadian and U.S. aircraft were scrambled and a U.S. F-22 successfully fired at the object." All right, so February 12th, a UFO was shot down over Lake Huron, girl, okay? An object that first appeared over Montana on Saturday reappeared the next day before being shot down over Lake Huron off of Michigan. The object, which was flying at about 20,000 feet, had an octagonal structure with strings hanging off of it, but had no discernible payload, U.S. officials said. Girl. Okay, so I have been preaching this from the beginning. They are here, girl. They are among us. They have been here, okay? I also, because I'm balanced and I'm not fully crazy, being the conspiracy theory type bitch that I am, and I have many theories, and we're going to get into all of them, but the first thing I have to say is this. The Chinese spy balloon, right? Let's just say if I wanted to play sleight of hand, if I wanted to fuck you mentally, okay? The first question I have about that Chinese spy balloon is, why was it allowed to travel basically over the entire North American continent? And if it was indeed an intelligence gathering device, it done gathered all it needed to, okay? And probably already transmitted that bitch to where it was meant to go. Shout out to China for taking ownership. Okay, China said, girl, yes, it was ours, but don't act like y'all ain't been flying y'all shit over here too, invading our airspace and doing intelligence gathering of your own. I think all countries spy on each other. Let's just tell that truth. I don't think that it's a big secret. It's called espionage for a reason, okay? It's called undercover agencies for a reason, black sites for a reason, the CIA for a reason, girl, okay? And all these other countries have their own version of what our CIA is. So y'all been spying, girl, on each other. We all know. It's no secret, okay? Now, we need to ask the question, well, the best way to mindfuck everyone is to let this Chinese spy balloon do what it's gonna do. Then anything that comes after is looked at as a hoax, looked at as foolery, okay? Pish posh, hocus pocus, girl. Because think about it. 3 to 4 UFOs were just recently shot the fuck down, 2 of which have been confirmed to resemble what we would see as like extraterrestrial spaceships, girl. And the people aren't losing their fucking shit right now? Girl. We don't know the origin. We don't know what this is. And then let's think about this too. How I know for sure that this is going to be extraterrestrial vibes is if we don't hear no more updates on how, because they're on their way right now to go unearth these objects and to see what they are. If we don't hear nothing else after this, girl, that's how we know for sure this was some alien shit. Or they'll sell us some bullshit, girl. This was some experiment, some 16-year-old genius built in his backyard, girl, and or whatever, some bullshit. Some space debris. They're gonna give a bunch of trash, and we're gonna feed into it because we're stupid. We're not woken up, bitch, okay? We have not awakened. The third eyes are shut the fuck closed, bitch. Your real eyes are shut the fuck closed. Because if hearing all of this, like, what the hell's going on here? And then now, another thing that stood out to me about the situation is they reported several times that because of the Chinese, spy balloon, it made air traffic control people in the military adjust the settings for their radar. So now they are able to detect everything. So now that you're actually, heard what the guy said in the news report, we're now looking for these things. So now we are finding these things. So you're telling me you didn't have your eye on the sky at 20,000 feet or below? So anything over 20 to 30,000 feet, that's what y'all was paying attention to. You just basically told on yourselves that we haven't been secure in a while. So that makes me question, how long have these things, these unidentified flying objects, been hovering in civilian airspace? Or right between where there's no radar detection for them. And I go back to this, if these were aliens, so to speak, if these were violent aliens, so to speak, if they've been hovering in the ether of our life this entire time, why haven't they killed us all? And moving forward, it could be more believable that these are spy tools, spy technology. For all we know, that's an unidentified flying object for for almost 4 other countries that have been watching our ass. No telling how much intelligence they have gathered, because we're just now adjusting our radar to detect these kinds of low-flying space vehicles. Girl, please. I'm inclined to believe both may be true. Some of these may be actual, extraterrestrial life form, girl. Hello, God. Or extraterrestrial technology. They said these crafts were unmanned. Don't you think aliens, if they did exist, they would have the technology to remotely, hello, God, drive their shit? Because I hold true to that theory about our air. I think our air is toxic to aliens. That's why you see all of the ships, but you never really see them. So wouldn't you think, okay, they probably developed a spacecraft that doesn't need to be manned. They can just remotely control that bitch. And like I said too, y'all, we need to do better then. We need to do better. We're over here spending all of this money on this defense bill and the military this, and we're just around here just letting shit just skid on by. No, ma'am, Pam. Drop it in the comments. Let me know what you guys think of this. Do you believe that these are, otherworldly beings, honey? Okay. Do you believe in that kind of stuff? Do you believe they are here to kill us? I don't think they are. I think aliens, I think this was their home a long time ago. Hello, God. Or some point in time. Hello, God. I believe that they have been guiding humanity since the beginning. I think they've been protecting us from ourselves. For all you know, they have been hovering in the ether of our life, assisting us and making sure we don't blow ourselves up. I truly believe that. And if they were violent, evil creatures, or, trying to, why haven't they done it by now? Or maybe, just maybe, this is a big old life dome. They are our creators. We are their experiments. And they're just hovering over like scientists, seeing how we're developing. I might do a video going deeper into that, girl, because there's a lot of things to be said about life, creation, religion, and just how a lot of it doesn't make sense, and then how a lot of it does make sense. We might have to revisit. I know I did a conversation on that last year, but we might have to dive more into it. Amen. All right, so on to the next topic. We have to talk about what's going on over there in Turkey, child. First and foremost, thoughts and prayers out to everyone over there, girl. I can only imagine, I don't even want to imagine what it's like to go through an earthquake. I've never experienced that before, but not just an earthquake, the aftermath, what the earthquake brought with it, girl, okay? It is being reported that over 40,000 people are reported dead, and those numbers are meant to double. So we're looking at close to 80,000. Let's just be safe, because we're talking about 5,000 to 7,000 massive buildings destroyed. There's no telling. So just to be safe, I don't like to put death on nobody, but girl, we might be looking at a possible 100,000 people dead. And I'm glad I decided to do a deep dive on this story because I found something interesting. And it's something that heavily relates to a lot of conversations I've had over here on the platform. What's going on over here? The corruption that lives within business. Capitalism is the truest of devils, okay? Just preface everything before I read the story. Remember when the Miami condo collapse happened about 2 years ago, right? Come to find out, it's due to they were not updating maintenance. Okay, the city employed a third-party person that's supposed to maintain the codes and make sure everything is up to date and working and fix shit as needed, right? They pocket the money and do minimal work, and they use cheap, tools to do what they got to do. And then you wonder why hundreds of people die. The same thing happens with these bridges that collapse, these other structures, these buildings that collapse. We're out here bidding on companies that claim to do it cheaper. Yeah, they're gonna do it cheaper, but they're gonna do it cheaper. They're gonna take the little $2-3 million that you give them for the contract. They're gonna go out here and they're gonna forage the cheapest of materials for the lowest of costs, so that way they can make a double profit at the end of the day. And then a building that was supposed to survive 20, 30 years ends up imploding, hello God, a small wind and kicked up girl, and basically an entire building is falling down like Humpty Dumpty, bitch. People have lost their lives. Let's get into it, okay? Turkey earthquake, 113 arrest warrants connected to building construction, bitch. Officials in Turkey say 113 arrest warrants have been issued in connection with the construction of buildings that collapsed in Monday's earthquake. Turkish police have already taken at least 12 people into custody, including building contractors. Meanwhile, unrest in southern Turkey has disrupted rescue efforts in some places. The number of people confirmed to have died in Turkey and Syria has risen to more than 33,000. More arrests are expected, but the action will be seen by many as an attempt to divert overall blame for the disaster. Girl, let's be honest, here was a 5.5 magnitude earthquake. On the grand scale of it all, you guys should have been able to withstand that, especially when you had newer constructed buildings. But due to the greed of these contractors, the buildings that were, if they were to use the materials they were supposed to use, we probably would have not seen anything near the devastation in this nation, girl, okay? Period. Continuing on. For years, experts warned that many new buildings in Turkey were unsafe due to endemic corruption and government policies. Those policies allowed so-called amnesties for contractors who swerved building regulations in order to encourage a construction boom, including in earthquake-prone regions. Thousands of buildings collapsed during the earthquake, raising questions about whether the natural disaster's impact was made worse by human failings. Yes, the fuck it was, bitch. With elections looming, the president's future is on the line after spending 20 years in power. Girl, you knew about it. Let's tell the truth. 20 years, see, other countries are not like ours. See, America, I love us because, girl, we giving you 4 years. And if you do some real fuck shit within those 4 years, we have something called impeachment, girl. Like, sometimes that process works, a lot of times it doesn't. But at least we have that in place over here. You got bitches over here, overseas, girl, that's serving 20, 30 lifetime authority, girl, over the kids. No God, honey. But now, a lot of bad shit happens to expose what really needs to happen, which is change up in these political parties, girl. These political systems need to be torn down, rooted out, changed up, and new leadership needs to be added because, girl, we let things like this happen. I guarantee you the numbers are going to reach close to 100,000 people, girl. Do you know that would be the greatest fucking horrific thing to happen in human history? Girl, please. Mr. Erdogan, whatever his name is, has admitted shortcomings in the response, but during one visit to a disaster zone, he appeared to blame fate. Girl, please. Such things have always happened, he said. It's part of destiny's plan. Girl, if y'all don't take to the streets, girl, to the voting machines out there in Miss Turkey and Syria, girl, and get rid of these hoes, he said it was fate. Even though we have discovered that there's a lot of corruption that went on in the construction of these buildings, girl. So let us fully prove at some point, because I'm quite sure the people are going to get to the truth. And I guarantee you, because I have the third eye perspective, hello God, that they're going to uncover major corruption and greed, girl. They're going to, shortcomings my ass, your shortcomings, your failure to provide truth and justice, to do what you were hired to do, cost thousands of people's their lives in a destroyed nation. You know how long it's going to take these people to recover from this? And where are we going to bury all of these people? Who's paying for this stuff? That country is going to be ran into debt, girl, paying out all of these lawsuits that I'm sure are going to follow within the next year. Let these girls dust themselves off real quick, gather their emotions, get their shit straight, let the cleanup begin, girl. And I guarantee you within the year, girl, world lawyers are probably trying to get in touch with them people right now. Girl, we got a good case. Y'all hoes gonna be living good. Turkey ain't gonna be Turkey no more. Girl, someone's gonna buy that whole country because y'all gonna be in so much debt, paying out all these wrongful death suits, girls. Okay. Anyway, talking about it's fate. Shut your ass up, bitch. On the 6th day after the quake hit, the situation is growing more desperate. On Saturday, German rescuers and Austrian army paused search operations because of clashes between unnamed groups of Haiti province. Security is expected to worsen as food supplies dwindle, one rescuer said. Imagine the civil unrest, girl. And imagine knowing as a person that survived, but your loved ones didn't, in these building collapses, child. Not only did you experience an earthquake, which is traumatizing in itself, you now have to deal with the cleanup and the deaths of your loved ones, girl. What? And then you find out that it's due to corruption. People that you most likely voted for were plotting against your communities, girl. We're gonna give y'all a half-ass Lego built-ass city, girl, while we pocket the rest of that coin, while we're living lavish. What happened to their homes? I bet their homes have the latest and greatest materials. Hello, God. I bet you a roach can't even get in those people's homes, girl. Meanwhile, the people of the city. So this should show y'all 20 years in power. He don't give a fuck about y'all. It's time to switch up y'all votes. Get him the hell up out of there. There is increasing aggression between factions in Turkey. Austrian Lieutenant Colonel Pierre said the chances of saving a life bears no reasonable relation to the safety risk. Child, these people are basically letting you know that because of all of this civil unrest, all of these aggressions are being taken out on politicians and law enforcement more than likely, child, because people are tired. Your corruption has now led to this type of devastation. Girl, please, we're going to wreck shop. We're not going to listen to what the fuck y'all got to say. And yes, bring your ass around here while these tensions are high and these emotions are still fresh, girl. We're going to wear you hoes out in the streets. Could you blame the people? And then you want to say because of that, you're going to stop all rescue attempts. So now you want to create further, hello God, aggression between the people and everybody else. Okay. That's fine. You just signed, sealed, and delivered your exit from presidency, girl, period. And everyone else who is on their prime minister, however they run their shit, you know, they got over here, it's like different cabinets and shit over there, prime minister, president, whatever the hell, lady of the lake, whatever, bitch, okay? Sir King Arthur, bitch, all the girls, honey, all the kings and the queens and all these hoes. But now the people see how you really view them. So it's time to get y'all the hell up out of there. They said the hope of finding survivors is fading despite some incredible rescues. In Syria, the death toll now stands at more than 3,500, but new figures have not been published since Friday. On Sunday, the number dead in Turkey was more than 29,000, but like I said earlier, it was updated. It's about 37,000 people. And the death toll, they're not even halfway through these collapsed buildings, girl. And mind you, there's about 5,000 to 7,000 buildings that collapsed, and all within a cute little range of each other. Girl, please. The quake was described as the worst event in 100 years in this region, but the United Nations aid chief, who was in the Turkish province of whatever that name is, child, on Saturday, I think it's the worst natural disaster that I've ever seen, and it's also the most extraordinary international response. Girl, the earthquake was 5.5 magnitude. Any earthquake obviously can wreak devastation, right? But we're talking about a 5.5 magnitude earthquake up against buildings that were just recently updated. If it was not due to the corruption, I guarantee you, we would not have seen nowhere near half of the devastation in this nation, period. So basically that ends it. But yeah, girl, drop in the comments, let me know what y'all think about that. Again, y'all be thinking, oh, why be crazy? Why be nah, girl? I see the forest through the trees. These hoes don't like us. They don't love us. It's all about money. It's all about greed. It's all about power. It's all about keeping their foots on our necks, girl, permanently. And how do they do that? And a lot of times I feel like people initiate natural disasters, because I do believe it's possible. If China can be over here building a whole fucking artificial sun, you know how much energy that takes? Do you know what that takes? And they said it burns as hot as the sun here on Earth, which I think is a lie, because as soon as they would have activated that thing, we all would have been incinerated. But if that is true, in some way they were able to control the radiation of it all, right? Like, is it possible that these people cannot force natural disasters, hurricanes, earthquakes, typhoons, monsoons? Then we talk about global warming, climate change adds to, you know, Mother Earth's disturbances around the globe. All right, so I want to get into what's going on over in Palestine, Ohio, child, concerning this derailed train, child. So the train carrying hazardous materials, including the toxic chemical vinyl chloride, derailed February 3rd, prompting evacuation orders for residents in the village of 5,000 people near the Pennsylvania border. The wreckage burned for days as authorities worried about the possibility of a widespread deadly explosion, but crews managed controlled detonations to release the chemical, which can kill quickly at high levels and increase cancer risk. In an update Tuesday, investigators said no vinyl chloride has been detected, girl, shut the fuck up, in any of the down gradient waterways near the train derailment, and environmental teams are aerating waterways near the site. While there are some waterways that remain contaminated, the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency is confident that the contaminants are contained. So investigators, they're probing the toxic train disaster in East Palestine, Ohio. They are reviewing multiple videos of the train prior to it derailing. One video shows what appears to be a wheel bearing in the final stage of overheat failure moments before the derailment. The National Transportation Safety Board said in a statement on Tuesday, the suspected overheated wheel bearing has been collected and will be examined by engineers from the NTSB Materials Laboratory in Washington, D.C., the statement said. The wheel set will undergo a meticulous examination as part of the overall investigation. The NTSB also said investigators will return to complete an examination of the tank cars once they are fully decontaminated. Investigators have not yet determined what they believe caused the disaster. Such a determination typically takes many months. The NTSB said it is reviewing other videos too, including footage from 2 local businesses reported by local media to show glowing or flames from the train prior to the derailment. The agency is also reviewing recording data from the train's so-called black boxes, including an event recorder and image recorders. Let me say this real quick. This goes back to corruption. This goes back to people wanting to line their pockets and not prepare for impending doom. We're talking about a train that's carrying hazardous material. And mind you, one thing that was left out of this story that I read in another story was that people in the local area reporting that their pets were dying. Birds were falling out of the fucking sky. Fish in the local creeks and rivers were dying. Okay? So I don't want to hear none of this, oh, everything is contained. No, it is not contained. If it was contained, why are we evacuating 5,000 people? You're saying you're worried about a possible explosion. It's not the explosion we need to be worried. It's that silent killer, honey, that poison that is now heavily embedded in our earth. In North Carolina, I believe it was, where the largest pig slaughtering farm is, for years back in the day, decades ago, there was a lawsuit because the slaughterhouse was not properly disposing of the remains of these pigs that they were slaughtering, girl, for pork meat. And because of their toxic waste, the people that lived in the surrounding areas, just so happened to be Black communities, girl, were devastated with cancer. So you don't think I'm going to sit here and believe that the same thing could be true for this Ohio town? That real deadly chemicals have now spilleth onto their land? And y'all try to whitewash everything? We need to start holding these maintenance workers accountable. We see it all the time on things as small as a fucking ski lift. I've seen videos of people losing their lives on those because of malfunction, because of not proper upkeep. We just saw the poor boy in Orlando who lost his life on a ride. Yes, it was due to the fact that he was big as hell and shouldn't have been on the ride, but girl, the human error lied in the fact that no one's doing their fucking job. We see all the time that these circuses and all these cages fail and these bears and tigers get out and fucking kill everybody in the front row. Planes going down because of motherfucking maintenance error. They forgot to grease the wheels. Something as small as that. Bolts and bearings are missing. You are supposed to do pre-flight inspections, pre-trip inspections, semi-trucks. I've had 2 fucking tires thrown at me in the past couple of years because of a stupid ass semi-truck driver not doing his pre-trip and post-trip inspection properly to make sure that his tires were secure. They were not worn. Y'all get out on these roads anyway, and you put people's lives at risk because of your failure, because of your laziness, because of your greed. So you're telling me that we're going to, this one little bolt derailed an entire train full of toxic chemicals, and now look at the aftermath. If you did your fucking jobs the right way the first time around, we wouldn't be sitting here having these types of conversations where people's lives are literally going to be lost. And as we referenced, Turkey have been lost. We don't know what this toxic chemical spill is gonna have in the long term. The long-term effects of it all for these people of this town. Is this another Chernobyl, girl? Like, come on. I know nothing compares to that devastation, but I'm just saying though, like, and it's just the whitewash of it all. The comfort. Don't worry, we got it all figured out. No, I don't trust none of y'all. Big money is at stake here. So of course you're going to say and do anything you can to turn this all around and to swiftly throw it under the carpet. Tell me why another train was derailed. I believe it was in Texas recently. Same situation. What the hell is going on here? We know there's profit in disaster, there's profit in pain, there's profit in all of those nefarious things, girl. But at the level y'all are doing it, y'all are obviously not giving a damn no more. You don't care about human lives. We've already talked about that many times over here on the platform. Y'all just don't give a fuck. Train operators, train maintenance workers, bring them bitches to the carpet. Who was contracted to work on that train? Who just did that train's inspection before it left for its journey? Aren't they at each stop, or if they do stop, they supposed to do a check to make sure? Girl, please. We're already dealing with climate change, girl. We're already dealing with, lack of food sources and things of that nature. And now we got to deal with y'all contaminating the hell out of Earth, girl. Killing off animal species that are probably very relevant to our existence. And a whole town has had to be evacuated, girl, because of y'all's negligence. Girl, please. We got to start holding these people accountable for their sins against humanity, girl, period. And I guarantee you we're going to start seeing less and less of these kinds of freak accidents. One more thing I wanted to get out of the way here. There's an egg conspiracy going on, girl. And I decided to do a little deep dive of my own, okay? So apparently, I find this funny. Last year, there were 2 major egg distributors who mysteriously had their land burned the fuck down. Now, crazy enough, the specific target where these fires originated from housed chickens. We all know that chickens lay eggs, right? Okay. Tell me why over 5.3 million chickens have been killed. The number probably is going to go up because we just recently had another major chicken distributor, egg distributor, whatever, recently in January was burned to the ground as well. Then I get on TikTok and I see a bunch of people making claims that their chickens have not been laying eggs since last year, and that they realize that it could probably be the chicken feed that they've been giving their chickens. Tell me why all of these farmers all agree that they've been using the same type of chicken feed, and all of them collectively, they don't know each other, they're not in the same areas, regions, things of that nature. They all collectively say that at the same exact times, their chickens were not laying eggs. Okay. And all of a sudden, they decided to change the chicken feed. And then out of nowhere, they say that their chickens started laying eggs again. So there is a lot of, debunking of this by other people. And I'm just raising the question here because I am in the realm of conspiracy theory. You intentionally sterilized a particular chicken feed. Because I find it crazy that all of these major egg distributors, they're the main source for eggs, right? Which makes them the major, egg distributors of our country. All of a sudden, chickens can't lay eggs due to sterilized ass chicken feed. And then all of a sudden, we hear reports that Bill Gates is out here buying into, he wants to end world hunger, girl, by creating chickenless eggs. Y'all gonna wake up. Y'all gonna wake up, girl. Y'all gonna wake up and pay attention to all of the foo-la-la that is happening around you, girl. These people are playing on our time. They're playing on our intelligence. Girl, they're just doing this shit plain as day because they don't give a fuck no more, girl. They have now established in their mind that we are the retards they always thought we were, because we're not out here in the streets losing our shit. You got UFOs happening, bitches over here doing shit that's called natural disasters, girl, that are wearing hoes the fuck out. Whole legacies are destroyed, girl. You over here, bitches spying on each other. We got a lot of shit going on. Trains derailing, girl, chemical. There's a lot going on. Girl, let me tell y'all. Again, I just bring what I feel like I want to bring to the carpet of life, girl, and get y'all opinions on it. Drop that in the comments. Let me know what y'all think, girl. We are truly living in one of the craziest times ever. One of the main reasons I think that it's even more crazy and people are really like, okay, what the fuck, is because everything is visual now. Everything is on your phone, on your TV, on your tablet, on all your electronic devices. And at the instant of something happening, we are now informed. And again, I beg the same old question, what's really going on with the things that we don't see? And I swear that a lot of this media-driven shit, especially as it pertains to UFOs, UAPs, whatever you want to call it, girl, a lot of this stuff is driven to keep us away from what the fuck is really going on. Mark my words, I feel like America, we are trying to separate ourselves from China on every level, and especially the business. And you know, we owe them a lot of money, girl. I've mentioned this before. And I find it weird that we got a Chinese spy balloon, girl. We out here not wanting to do no more trade with them. We're doing a lot of things. We're pulling away from China and we owe them money. You ever tried to pull away from someone that you owed money to, girl? Like, eventually they're gonna strong arm your ass. Where you going? Where you going, bitch? You owe me money. Get your ass over here. You ain't going nowhere. And that's how I feel like China's doing, like, girl, we gotta do what we gotta do to collect our coin. And I feel like other countries too are gearing up. I say this all the time. America, as great as we proclaim to be, girl, we are the slaughter capital of the world, girl. We are the violent, raggedy bitches of this world. And they're coming for us, girl. We are weak and they are strong. Especially if they band together. Let Russia and China and all the rest of the world, the major superpowers, get together and say, girl, we're done with you, America. Anyway, y'all, be blessed and never stressed. Remember that health is wealth. And yeah, bye guys, take care.